Hello everybody, welcome along to our latest roundup from the Vanarama National League. Half an hour jam-packed with all the key incidents from the latest round of fixtures. This weekend we've been at Blundell Park as two of the most fancied teams went head-to-head. Top scorers at home, Grimsby Town, against top scorers away, Cheltenham Town. Much more of that game coming up and plenty more besides. Forest Green survive an early scare to go back to the top. Dover are in clover after their 7th win in 8 games. And finally, Kidderminster land their first win of the season. We start at Forest Green, where Eddie Pennock's side were looking to regain top spot after Cheltenham's victory over Grimsby on Friday night. The omens were good. They'd won their last 6 league meetings with visitors Chester, but against the odds, it was Steve Burr's men who took the lead after 12 minutes. Ross Hannah taking the credit for the goal from Jordan Chappell's corner, but did he actually get a touch? I'm not sure he did. Chester buoyed after their early goal, played with swagger, and James Roberts almost doubled their advantage in spectacular fashion. On the back of consecutive league defeats, Forest Green were desperate to respond. John Parkin capitalising on some woeful defending to provide Elliot Freer with a chance, but John Worsnop was equal to his effort. Worsnop was again called into action shortly afterwards, this time denying former Preston North End midfielder Darren Carter. Forest Green finally got their equaliser just after the half-hour mark. Freer setting up the simplest of tap-ins for Parkin, and the Beast celebrated his 6th goal of the season. The turnaround was complete 2 minutes later as a wretched back pass from Ryan Higgins went straight to Keanu Marsh-Brown, and the Forest Green striker expertly curled the ball past Worsnop. In the second half, Freer should have killed the game off, but his shot hit the bar. Chester did have a chance to equalise, but Tom Shaw's header flew narrowly past the post to continue their miserable run against the hosts. Delight for Eddie Pennock, though, as his side returned to the top of the table ahead of their FA Cup first-round game against League Two side AFC Wimbledon on Saturday.
But the lads are superb. The energy levels and the football we played was very good. Give Cheltenham credit. It's a tough place to go to beat Grimsby there, and you've got to give them credit. So, a little bit of pressure, but it's nice. It's a lovely pressure to be, and to get the result and be back top of the league is a fantastic achievement for the club and especially for the players. So I thought they were very good.
Playing non-league football for the first time since 1921, the expectations at Tranmere Rovers after relegation last season hadn't escaped manager Gary Brabin. They faced high-flying Dover in red for the first time in any competition, with both sides knowing a win could keep them safely in the playoff spots. Tranmere cried penalty early on when a cross from Liam Ridehouse was poorly dealt with, and it seemed to hit the hand of Sean Raggett, though the referee was correct to continue play. Dover had been in scintillating form, winning 6 of their previous 7 matches, but were perhaps fortunate when Ricky Miller fired them ahead. A superb finish from Miller, his 5th of the season, but suggestions of handball clearly frustrated Brabin. Whatever the Rovers manager said at half-time had the desired effect, and they looked much more effective after the break. On loan Barnet striker Ben Tomlinson testing the Dover keeper Mitch Walker. Tranmere continued their onslaught and were unlucky not to level things when substitute Andy Mangan's shot beat Walker, but not the post. Despite Tranmere's pressure, it was Dover who came close to doubling their lead. Toby Ajala with time and space, but his shot was well saved by Ian Turner. Louis Maynard had a chance to save Tranmere from a 3rd successive home defeat when Walker failed to punch clear across, but couldn't direct his shot on target. With the clock ticking, Tranmere were out of ideas, and it was Dover who should have finished the game off when Ajala worked well with Nicky Devedix, whose eventual shot was foiled. A terrific win then for Chris Kinnear's men. They consolidate their position in 3rd place, but Brabin has much to do to turn around his side's fortunes at home.
It's early days. We're not too despondent. We're disappointed. It's a good opportunity for us to go third in the table today, and we've missed that opportunity. But still early days, and we need to got a lot of work to do before we want to be where we want to be, and hopefully we can achieve that. I think a truer story will be told after Christmas, and we need to start winning more football matches.
We deserve to win. These are a good side. They're one of the very top sides, aren't they? And they're looking to bounce straight back, and possibly they will. But today, I think, even at the end there, we were creating chances all the time. Our keeper only probably had one save to make, so I think the lads did a job as a team.
After their embarrassing 3-0 loss to Maidenhead United in the FA Cup fourth qualifying round, Woking manager Gary Hill extraordinarily announced his entire squad was available for loan. They travelled to face Kidderminster, who were also licking their wounds after a 3-0 cup defeat to lower league opposition in Stourbridge. And it didn't start too well for either side. Matthew Barnes' homer was closest to opening the scoring in the first half for Kidderminster, who were still seeking their first win of the season. The second half was much more eventful. Ben Whitfield was given clear sight of goal, but his one-on-one chance was saved by debutant Woking keeper Nick Hamann. Woking only had one win in their previous 7, but Dan Holman did his best to give the visitors the lead with this effort, which forced a good one-handed save from Dean Schnedker. Barnes' homer, signed on loan from Aldershot this week, had a golden opportunity, but his header was well off target. But with 3 minutes to go, substitute Matt Young whipped in a cross, which found Jordan Murphy to head past Hamann, sending the home fans into raptures. Disappointment for Woking, but relief for Harriers manager Dave Hockaday. That win ends their worst ever start to a season.
Clean sheet, 3 points at home. Second half was much better. We looked more purposeful. We've missed 2 absolute sitters, and then we put another one away. I'm just delighted for everybody. The fans have been incredible. Players have worked hard, and they're going to continue to work harder. So we're going to have 10 hard days between now and the next game. And in reality, it's only 3 points, and we need to get more 3 points. So we need a reality check as well. But I'm just delighted for everybody at the football club.
There wasn't much history between these two sides. They'd never met in a league match, and Lincoln won 8-1 and 5-0 in 2 long-forgotten FA Cup qualifying games. Bromley had won 8 of their last 11 matches and went close to taking the lead early on, Louis Dennis's free kick flying narrowly wide. Lincoln were unbeaten at home since April, and Luke Waterfall's volley brought a good save from goalkeeper Chris Kettings. Bromley were lucky not to be a goal down when a long throw from Chris Bush caused havoc in the box, but the ball was cleared off the line. But it was a very different story for the visitors in the second half, and Anthony Cook went close with this effort, which hit the bar. Goalkeeper Paul Farman was Lincoln's man of the match, and here's why. A tremendous point-blank save to deny Jack Holland. But Bromley boasts the top scorer in the league, and it was Moses Emmanuel who made the difference. His first touch and finish from Ali Husseini's cross took his tally for the season to 14, 3 more than any other player in the division. Lincoln's chance of moving into the playoff places has gone for the time being, but Bromley move up to 4th in a remarkable season for last year's Conference South winners.
It's just every game is the next most important game in our lives, and today to cement our place amongst the top 10, it was really important that we responded from the FA Cup defeat, and the boys were absolutely immense today.
Braintree came into this game looking to move into the playoff places, and mid-table Macclesfield were hoping to capitalise on their FA Cup 4th qualifying round victory over Altrincham last weekend. A first-half slip from Lyndon Makel allowed Braintree a break. An excellent through ball from Daniel Sparks found Colchester loanee Sammy Schmodix, but keeper Juan Jalal was equal to it. Danny Whitehead had a chance to open Macclesfield's account, but his shot went narrowly wide. In the second half, this cross from Schmodix reached the feet of Shez Isaac, who netted, but the whistle had already been blown for offside. 15 minutes from time, though, Macclesfield made the mistake that would cost them the game. Keeper Jalal unaware of his surroundings, allowing Schmodix to score on his Braintree debut. Braintree still have the best defensive record in the division, with just 14 goals conceded, and they're up into 5th place.
Went into this one with pressure on manager Darren Edmondson, who was given a month to turn his team's fortunes around by owner Paul Casson after their defeat by AFC Clyde in the FA Cup 4th qualifying round. But it was Barrow who gifted Wrexham the lead after the ball rebounded off keeper Joel Dixon and defender Danny Livesey, allowing Connor Jennings to take full advantage. In the 58th minute, the pace of Wes York proved too much for the Barrow defence as he doubled the home side's lead. But 16 minutes later, Wrexham goalkeeper Rhys Taylor was unable to stop this 25-yarder from David Symington, his first goal for the club, as Barrow fought their way back into contention. It didn't take long for Wrexham to make the game safe, though, as York bagged his 2nd of the day and 6th of the campaign, doubling his tally from the whole of last season. In injury time, a cutback from York saw Jennings make it 4 and become Wrexham's top scorer, with 8 this season. The result gives Wrexham back-to-back wins and lifts them up to 6th, 1 point off the playoff places.
You're watching our latest roundup from the Vanarama National League. Plenty more still to come after this short break. Welcome back to our latest roundup from English football's 5th tier, the Vanarama National League. Let's get straight back to the action. It was one of the biggest games of the National League season so far, as 4th place Grimsby Town took on 2nd place Cheltenham Town at Blundell Park on Friday night. Commentary from Adam Virgo and Steve Bauer.
Richard Tate, good touch from Bogle. This is East. Oh, it's a really good chance for East. Dylan Phillips out quickly. Back in from Tate. There's the header. Armand felt he got a touch on the way through. It didn't find the target.
Dylan Phillips makes himself big, strong. Good play there from Grimsby.
Back from Townsend. Oh, they looked as though it was a use of a hand there. The referee has seen it. But he says it's outside the penalty area, John Brooks.
Certainly struck the arm of Aaron Downs. It's there to be seen as a handball.
Here's Bogle. Armand is free if he can find him. Denied by the legs of Phillips. Back in again towards Bogle, and comfortable that time for Dylan Phillips. Well, the young goalkeeper on loan from Charlton's made 2 very important stops in this first half. Munns. Direct run from him. McLennan's cross. Danny Wright. Waters. Surely a chance. Bartram denied by McKeown.
Full credit to McLennan. That makes the overlap. He just sees the danger. The minute that Billy Waters misses it there, he's straight off his line.
Downs! Aaron Downs to give Cheltenham the lead. The skipper has stepped up to the plate to break the deadlock.
Well, he finishes it like he's a centre forward. It's a brilliant finish, it really, really is.
It's a great win for us. You know, it wasn't pretty by any means, but we worked hard. We were organised when we had to be. Really luck at times, but you know, it's a great win for us and takes the top.
Well, you did ride your luck, and when you've been around the game as long as you have, you were aware of what happened over there with the handball.
Yeah, it was very close, yeah.
It was inside the box, in fact.
Yeah, well, so sometimes they go your way, sometimes they don't. You know, it's nice to get one, so take that.
We were on top of the game, realistically. Second half, you know, their front players got hold of it, and that's something I think they did better than us tonight in general, that helped them get up the pitch and create a couple of chances second half. But, you know, realistically, I think we've had enough chances in the game, and we've got to look to take them, particularly in these games that one goal is going to be the difference.
If there was one thing that looked guaranteed at the Silver Lake Stadium, it was goals. Eastleigh were without a clean sheet in a dozen matches. Halifax hadn't failed to concede a goal in their previous 26. And it was the struggling visitors who struck first after 15 minutes. Sam Walker's shot beaten away by Ross Flitney. Kingsley James following up for his third goal of the campaign. The 23-year-old midfielder already achieving his best ever goal-scoring season. Halifax held the lead into half-time, but whatever Eastleigh manager Chris Todd said at the interval, it worked. Matty Fanimo's cross was only cleared as far as Andy Drury, who equalised 3 minutes into the second half. And with 20 minutes to play, goal number 2 finally arrived. Eastleigh's Yemi Odubade breaking down the left, and at the second time of asking, his cross found the head of Josh Payne, who grabbed his second goal of the season. 47 conceded so far by Halifax adds up to the worst defence in the National League. It was a spirited display from Darren Kelly's side, who almost drew level. This goal-mouth scramble saw Odubade inches away from putting the ball into his own net. But it's another victory for Todd and for Eastleigh, who are now unbeaten in 4.
Gateshead, playing in light blue, arrived in Hertfordshire without a win in their last 6, including an FA Cup exit at home to lower league Worcester City last weekend. So it was surprising to see the Tynesiders start so confidently, with Gus Mafuta scoring his first goal for the club, firing past Boreham keeper James Russell after just 2 minutes. And the lead was doubled within quarter of an hour. Some patient build-up play, Ryan Bowman sliding the ball through for Danny Johnson, and Gateshead firmly in control. But Luke Garrard's team responded before the half-hour mark. Winger Anthony Jeffrey with a positive and powerful run into the Gateshead box, ended by Nathan Buddle, clear penalty. Nerves didn't look an issue for Billy Clifford, but that was his first league goal for over 2.5 years. Game very much back on at Meadow Park. The home side pressed after the break. Veteran striker Charlie McDonald denied by the feet of Russell. And the impressive Jeffrey would have scored one of the goals of the day in the National League were it not for the heroics of Russell again. It looked like it was only a matter of time before the equaliser would arrive. Turkish striker Mustafa Tiryaki bringing out the best in Russell, as Boreham were doing everything except score. But with 15 minutes to go, the hosts finally found the back of the net. Jeffrey once again the source of Gateshead's misery as he crossed for substitute Mauro Valletti, who marked the start of his third loan spell at Boreham with a goal. But as soon as the 3 points had been snatched from Gateshead, they snatched them back. Patrick McLaughlin with the ball into the area, and George Honeyman on loan from Sunderland scored his first senior goal to seal Gateshead's win.
Guiseley's first ever National League fixture saw them defeated 1-0 at Welling on the opening day of the season, and wins had remained hard to come by ever since for Mark Bauer's side. Just 4 in 18 league games this campaign, but they made a super start at Nethermoor Park. Clever approach play and a smart finish from Anthony Dudley just 9 minutes into his Guiseley debut. Signed on loan from Bury on Friday, scoring on Saturday. The away side were looking to strike back quickly, a lovely 1-2 deserving a much better finish from Welling's Stephen Bakari. And just before half-time, the home side doubled their advantage. Danny Boschel with the through ball, and persistence paid off for Dudley once again. The 19-year-old with his second on a dream debut for Guiseley. And it confirmed their first win in 5 matches.
Torquay United travelled to Moss Lane after suffering humiliation at the hands of lower league Basingstoke Town in the FA Cup last weekend, and looking to lift themselves out of the bottom 4. It was also an opportunity to close the gap on Altrincham, who were only 4 points above them, and they had an early chance when this dipping shot from Tyrone Marsh tested the gloves of Tim Deasy. Dan Butler's follow-up effort not quite as impressive. But James Hurst then found Marsh making a run down the left, and after a clever piece of footwork, he slotted the ball under Altrincham keeper Deasy, his third goal in 3 matches. In the second half, Torquay keeper Dan Leverkusen did well to keep out this bullet header from Scott Leather. But as Altrincham continued to press, a clearance from a corner saw Jake Moult convert this screamer to bring the sides level. His first goal since April 2014 and well worth waiting for. A fantastic save from DC from the Torquay player-manager Kevin Nicholson's free kick made sure the score stayed level. But his side were reduced to 10 men in the 79th minute when Marsh lost his cool with his own teammate Dan Butler in an off-the-ball incident, and the referee showed him a straight red card. Torquay still fighting to get out of the bottom four, and their boss disappointed with Marsh's actions.
He was fantastic the whole time he was on the pitch, but an error in judgment from him, not controlling his emotions. Maybe he was a bit tired, and I think he will regret it because he's going to miss the next 3 games now, and somebody else gets a chance. But we'll get older, Ty. You know, he's got a lot to do, he's got a lot to learn, he's got a lot of improvements to make, but he's shown me some very good stuff in between all that.
Southport were looking to banish memories of their FA Cup defeat to Salford City last Saturday as they returned to the realism of a fight against relegation from the National League. And it was that sinking feeling again after just 11 minutes. Aldershot's Jim Stevenson with a crisp strike into the corner, his 3rd goal of the season. Paul Carden's men are the lowest scorers in the National League, but were on the prowl for an equaliser. Louis Armand firing narrowly wide. And it was then the turn of Adam Blakeman trying his best to outdo Stevenson with this drive. A carbon copy effort from Aldershot's Damon Lathrope almost doubled the lead after the break. And that slice of fortune proved crucial as moments later defender Luke Foster headed home from Blakeman's corner. 1-1 on Merseyside. Aldershot were unbeaten in their previous 4 matches in all competitions and were keen not to surrender the initiative. Charlie Walker forcing a point-blank save out of Southport stopper Max Crocombe. When Barry Smith's men found a way past Crocombe, they were denied by the woodwork again. Dan Walker's thunderous shot rattling against the crossbar. But it could so easily have been Southport who claimed all 3 points. Jack Ryan's header tipped over the bar as the spoils were shared at Hague Avenue.
So it's as you were at the top of the table. Cheltenham temporarily took over first place after their victory at Grimsby on Friday night, but Forest Green reclaimed the lead within 24 hours by coming from behind to beat Chester. Dover and Bromley both had big away wins at promotion rivals Tranmere and Lincoln respectively, while Braintree, the team with the league's meanest defence, are up into the playoff places. But it's so competitive that anyone in the top half of the table could consider themselves realistic promotion contenders. Kidderminster's long-awaited first win of the season has lifted them off the bottom, but there's still a great deal to do if they're to avoid the drop. It looks bleak, though, for Halifax, who've lost 6 out of their last 7, but draws for Southport and Torquay keep alive their hopes of survival. That's just about it for this week's National League Highlight Show, but don't forget to join us on Saturday, November the 14th, as we bring you Bromley against Altrincham exclusively live on BT Sport 1 from midday. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon.